This is the Monday night game from earlier this year. Notice the sum of 66 points, the teams that met in the first Super Bowl at the end of the 66th season. The last time these two teams played, it was December 27th, 2015. Cardinals won 38-8. That was a date with 74 numerology. Today will be the 74th time the two teams play. With regards to the sum of 46 points, it connects to Chicago. There's a major Chicago theme going on this year. The Arizona Cardinals are originally from Chicago. They were the Chicago Cardinals. Chicago has the gematria 46. We're going to talk more about that 46 when we talk about the Carolina Panthers and Seahawks matchup. So here we go, Seahawks and Panthers, the early game tomorrow, Sunday. The Panthers and Seahawks have also met 2 times in the playoffs prior. This will be their 3rd time, just like the Cardinals and Packers. Lifetime, the Seahawks lead the series 7-3. This will be the 11th game between the two teams. I suspect it'll say 7-4 by the end of tomorrow. Panthers should win. A lot lines up for them. The 2 times these teams have played, the games have summed to 48 points. I find that interesting, in light of the fact that the Seahawks won Super Bowl 48. The year the Seahawks beat the Panthers the first time, 2006, they went on to lose to the Steelers in the Super Bowl. When they won last year against the Panthers, they went on to lose to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Got videos on both of those if you haven't seen them. Super Bowl 40, Super Bowl 49. When the Seahawks lost to the Steelers, the game summed to 31 points. Steelers equals 31. It was Super Bowl 40. Steelers also has a gematria of 40. The game was played on a date with 33 numerology. February 5th, 2006. So often they line up these Super Bowls with the 33. That's why we pay attention to this number, because it's very important to the Freemasons who own and operate the league, and they code it a lot in scores and dates. With regards to these two teams, they also have a 47 connection, the Seahawks and Panthers. The matchup tomorrow, Seattle's on the 47th parallel. Charlotte, North Carolina, as it's often written, has gematria 47. Another important number to the Masons, first Super Bowl again in the 47th year of the league. Panthers win, they'll be 4-7. When the Seahawks and Panthers played earlier this year in the regular season, October 18th, it was the first time in the history of the teams that the Panthers won in Seattle. And notice that game summed to 50 points, 27-23. It was also played on a date with 43 numerology. Seattle Seahawks in gematria equals 43. The Seahawks won their only Super Bowl, Super Bowl 48, with 43 points. No coincidence. Something else that's interesting, Truth Seeker, Bank of America Stadium is the only stadium in the league that's on a 33-acre lot of land. The new Minnesota Vikings Stadium that's being built is also on a 33-acre lot of land. Think about how the Seahawks won on a favor last week with a purposefully shanked field goal. Have a video on that in Minnesota, and now they travel to Carolina following this 33 thing. Seahawks are one of 3 teams in the league with a 33 gematria. So all those numbers aside, here's why I'm almost 100% certain the Panthers are going to win. For the college championship, I did a prediction video. I said why it was in the bag for Alabama. It aligned up perfectly with numerology. I said it was easy to see. It'll be their 16th championship in the year 16, plus a whole lot more. By the end of the national championship game, it was won 45-40, a sum of 85 points. Nick Saban won his 5th championship, winning by 5 points. The name Nicholas equals 45. Alabama won 45-40. What was interesting is Clemson, the losing quarterback of the game, was wearing the number 85 on his wrist. And again, the game summed to 85 points. Clemson is very close to the Carolina Panthers in terms of geography. The coach of the Carolina Panthers was a linebacker on the 85 Bears who won the Super Bowl 46-10 over the Patriots. The 85 Bears went 15-1. Ron Rivera, who played on that team, now coaches the 15-1 Panthers. They won that Super Bowl 46-10. Again, Chicago equals 46. They won that year with the revolutionary 4-6 defense. This year, Super Bowl 50 is the 46th Super Bowl of the modern era. The first 4 Super Bowls were when the AFL and NFL were still separate leagues. They merged for the 5th Super Bowl. This will be the 46th Super Bowl of the modern era. Chicago, 46. I think there's going to be a major Chicago theme, an NFC championship of Cardinals, originally from Chicago, and Panthers, coached by a former member of the Chicago Bears, makes a lot of sense in this regard. Also, as I've said in other videos, the Super Bowl is always themed with what's going on in culture. Right now, the mainstream media is actively provoking a race war. A lot of that race war news coverage comes out of Chicago. Think about the Black Panthers, established by Huey P. Newton in the year 66, the year of the first Super Bowl. Think about Cam Newton, emphasis on Newton, the leader of the Carolina Panthers. Also, adding insult to injury, Fred Hampton, the former leader of the Black Panthers, was shot to death in Chicago on a date with 85 numerology. See how they're doing this, Truth Seeker? So, for the NFC, I'm fairly certain the Panthers and the Cardinals will advance. Throughout the season, the Packers were my favorite team in the NFC because of all the tributes they were getting. I'm starting to think those tributes were more just about celebrating the first Super Bowl and the anniversary Super Bowl 50. Last year, I fell into a similar trap with the Indianapolis Colts. I think I made the same mistakes earlier in the season with the Packers. I expect the Packers to lose today. So the final game of the divisional round is the Steelers at the Broncos, and this will be the 31st game between the two teams. Interestingly enough, Steelers has gematria of 31, as we talked about, but I don't think that's favorable for the Steelers today. The last time these teams played in the playoffs was January 8th, 2012, a date with 41 numerology. The Broncos won. Broncos have gematria of 41. The time before that they played on a date with 49 and 31 numerology, numbers that both connect to the Steelers. And that one, the Steelers won. These are all their playoff matchups in history. In history, the Broncos lead in the playoffs. They've won 4 times. The Steelers have won 3 times. This will be their 8th playoff matchup. In terms of numerology, it seems to favor the Steelers, but truth seekers, sometimes I think what's more important than even the numerology is the theming. And last week during the wild card round, they were running a new commercial for the upcoming O.J. Simpson show on FX that will begin February 2nd, the 33rd day of the year. Race war equals 33, Simpson equals 33. The Simpson crime scene was found on a date with 33 numerology. The O.J. Simpson trial was a major provoker of racial tension in this nation, as many of us well know. Think about how they were advertising that last week during the wild card round. Think about how the O.J. Simpson saga began with the chase in a white Bronco. Think about a white Bronco and a Black Panther. In terms of symbolism, nothing makes more sense than a Broncos-Panthers championship. I did a video on all that lines up for Manning and Elway with this season. It's hard for me to see the Broncos losing. The numbers here, if I didn't know better, would indicate to me that the Steelers are going to win. But because of the theming, I really think the Broncos win today. It'll be interesting to see who plays QB for the Steelers. Will it be Ben Roethlisberger, Michael Vick, or both? They're saying key players are out, such as Antonio Brown. So things are shaping up in that regard for the Broncos. And again, this language of numerology and gematria is a language of coded symbolism. So ultimately, what we are talking about are symbols. And that's why I'm pretty sure the Super Bowl will be Broncos and Panthers. We'll see if I have to reevaluate after this week. But right now, these are how I read the picks. So hope you enjoyed the video. Hope this information's making it through. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a playlist for the NFL 2015-16 season, and I'm going to put every single video I've made about this NFL season in there for all of you people who are interested in this work to go back and research. A lot of interesting decoding, helping you see how the season was scripted all along. My picks aren't always correct. That's when I make the mistakes, it's because I am not reading the script correctly. But even when my mistakes are made, you can still see where I went wrong. And what I want people to understand is that the games are rigged. They're rigged by numerology, gematria, symbolism. And just because the picks are wrong sometimes doesn't mean that I'm wrong about how the games are rigged. An important point to understand. All right, Truth Seeker, until next time.